what part this is, of the Neo contracts, or Neo Smart Contract series. So today we are going to be doing a NEP5 token, and it's going to be based off the concept that we did at the Hack CU in Boulder, Colorado over the weekend. So I have with me my engineer, Ricky Mason. And Ricky, in a minute, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Just tell everybody who you are, what you do, et cetera, et cetera. So over the weekend, we participated at the Hack CU hackathon, and our concept was Neo Rentals. So the concept was basically a platform where renters and rentees can put their information on the blockchain. So from the renter point of view, one of the problems, especially in high density areas such as like California, New York, you have to do credit and background checks for every place that you inquire about, which could quickly get expensive. So why not put that information on the blockchain, and then you can just look it up for a relatively small, negligible fee. And then from the renters or the rental owner point of view, all their information is on the blockchain, so it's all their properties, and for each property, it tracks like things such as damages, tenant information, rental history, such as price increase, property value, et cetera, et cetera. And they can also do inquiry checks on people who want to rent the property to see if they have any evictions and stuff like that before they rent it up. So while we were developing this, the Neo team and the City of Zion team were actually at the event. And for a couple of hours, for more than a couple of hours, I was actually just sitting at their table, hacking right next to them, just asking them questions. And what they told me to do is that it would actually be easier to just create a token, your own token off the Neo network, and use that for your transactions. And I was like, well, I thought all tokens had to be assets. And he was like, no, they don't. I was like, really? He was like, yeah. So tokens are just smart contracts that have to implement a few methods. They can be assets, but they don't have to be assets. And I was like, oh, okay. So that totally changed my mind about it. But by this time, we didn't have enough time to actually mint the coin and do everything. So we just rocked with what we had. So today, we're going to actually write the token and just run with it. You see how it goes. So the coin we're going to be making is going to be called Rental Coin. Now, before I get deep into everything, I'm going to let Ricky introduce himself. So Ricky, would you like to introduce yourself? You're muted, I think. Hold on.
I was muted, my bad.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm Ricky Mason. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. Background really in electrical engineering. I kind of picked up software about sophomore year of undergrad and then ran with it from there. I just really love programming. And crypto has just blown my mind, and I've just been really excited about where it can go. So, yeah.
Cool. All right. So I guess we'll just dive right into it. I'm gonna go share my screen. Let's see. Share screen. All right. So it's actually pretty easy to create a token on the Neo network. There's only 6 methods that have to be implemented to be recognized as a NEP5 or NEP5 token. And they are right here. So we have the total supply method, the name method, the symbol method, the transfer method, the balance of method, and the decimals method. And then there's 3 other optional ones: allowance, transfer from, and approve. Now, most of these are straightforward. So example, total supply, it returns the total supply of the it returns the total token supply developed in the system. So if you want to deploy 100 million coins, then in the total supply, you return 100 million. Then we have the name, which returns the token name. So in this case, it will return rental coin. The symbol, it returns the symbol of the token, which would to, I guess, RNC. Decimals, it returns the number of decimals used by the system. So you want to use 0 decimals, 1 decimal, 2 decimals, yada, yada, yada. Balance of returns the token balance of the account. Transfer, which takes a from, a to, and an amount, transfers an amount of tokens from the from account to the to account. So if I want to send you 5 tokens, it would be using the transfer. And then lastly, we have, or not lastly, we have allowance, which is one of the optional methods. Allowance will return the amount of tokens that the to account can transfer from the from account. So this is like, let's say I wanted to give my son a wallet, and I wanted to, or I wanted to give him access to my wallet, but only 100 tokens, at most 100 tokens. You could set an allowance of 100 tokens. Transfer from will transfer the amount from the from account to the to account if the originator has been approved to transfer the requested amount. So if you give somebody permission to transfer from your account, so for like trusted applications. And then finally, there's an approved method, which is also optional. Approve will approve the to account to transfer amount tokens from the originator account. So you have to do approve first before you can do transfer from. But we're not going to touch any of those. We're just going to focus on the 6 methods that are available. So basically, here's the flow. Here's how the flow is going. Here's how the flow is going to go. We're going to write the contract. It's going to have a main function. It's going to take operation and the arguments array. We're going to check through the operation argument and see what the operation is. Depending on what the operation is, we're going to call a specific method and pass in the arguments. And that's essentially it. And then this is basically going to be part 1. Next week, we're going to do part 2, which is we're going to create a wallet using Neon.js. And essentially, all a token is just a smart contract, and you're doing invocation calls on the smart contract. Essentially it. So let's Neon Exchange, Neon Exchange has this wonderful open source. They open source their Next ICO template. So all this is written in Python, and basically we're not gonna copy this directly word for word, but we're going to copy some of the logic. So let's look at the ICO template and just see what they're doing. So like I said, they got the operations, they got the args. They're doing some different validation stuff that we're not doing. And, they're checking operations. So let me go over. I've already let me refresh this. In the DU crypto group, I've actually already created the repo. It's du-crypto/rental coin. It's empty right now because we're going to be writing it live. But at the end of this part 1, you guys can go and actually see the code for yourself. And remember, it requires NeoPython and NeoBoa. So let me head over. So I'm here, and we got the contract.py. Gonna open that up. So essentially, like I said, we're gonna be going over the operations and calling different methods, and then we're going to be using the storage API basically to store the balances and the accounts on the Neo blockchain. So let me grab those libraries. I don't remember off the top of my head. C#. All right, so we need to grab this. And then we also need this. Storage. And we need to grab this. I will refactor this to use classes, but I'm not going to do that right this second. Actually, you know what? I might. All right. All right, define main. We're going to take an op, and we're going to take arguments array. If op equals deploy, then we're going to call, actually I'm going to open this in Atom because I don't like the way it's spacing that. Give me 1 second. But basically, the deploy function is when you're actually deploying the tokens out for the first time, and you have to be the owner of the contract to do that. So we're gonna do a check witness, same stuff that we've been doing past few streams. You guys should know what I'm talking. Should remember what I'm talking about. Basically, we're gonna check the witness, make sure you're the owner of the contract, and then if you are the owner of the contract, it's gonna deploy out the tokens. All right, let me get rid of all this. Add project folder. All right. Let us go to shoot. I'm gonna do that. Uh-oh. Did I mess that up? Okay, cool. All right, well, while that's doing that. Sorry, bear with me, guys. I realized that I had my Neo folder inside of my VM folder and not my post folder. And that's still not done. Oh, damn me. I don't know why I did that. All right, well, that's doing that. Let's go ahead and finish looking at this code. So here they they have their own classes, which I should probably do, to be honest. That is cleaner code. So they made their own asset attachments class. They made their own token class, NEP5 handler, and a crowd cell class. Now this is an ICO template, so we don't need the crowd cell, and we don't need the get assets attachment. Because what they're doing for that is like they're selling using Neo and gas, and then depending on how much gas or how much Neo that they put in, they get a different amount of these tokens, whatever of the NEX tokens. NEP5 handler. The operations deploy token, circulation. So they have the operations that they're doing is deploy, circulation, mint tokens, crowd cell register, crowd cell status, crowd cell available, and crowd cell available. And for example, here in the deploy, the token owner gets their token original amount. Token. It checks the witness. Okay. So right here, it's checking the witness. It must be the owner to deploy. Then you're adding tokens to the circulation. Is this done yet? I want a code. Cannot move. Permission denied. Okay. All right, cool. So that's there. All right. Add project folder. Smart contracts. Rental coin. All right. Sorry about that. Finally here. All right, cool. So we're going to actually add a new folder here. We're going to call it rental coin. And we're going to go ahead and add a new file. And call it, actually, oh, well, I guess I could do it that way. We're gonna call it a token / token.py. Cool. And then we're gonna do storage / storage.py. We also need to add net.py. Ricky, is it 1 underscore or 2 underscores? I always forget. You might. I think you're muted again, bro.
Yeah, no, I believe it's 1.
Yeah, okay, it is 1. All right, and net.py. And then I need a net.py right here too. And what I'm doing here is So go contract.py, then we're gonna do from rental coin dot token import token, and then from rental coin dot storage import storage API. Was it return? Yeah. This mouse messing up again. Okay. Return token equals new token, which that needs to be capital T. So what I'm doing is, instead of just having all this in one big monolithic file, I'm going to break it up into classes. So instead of using the BOA storage directly, I'm going to use a storage API that just implements the storage functions, which is the get, delete, put, yada yada. If equals total supply. If it equals total supply, we're gonna return token dot get total supply. If equals name, then we're going to return token dot get name. If I really wish Python had a switch statement. If symbol return token dot get symbol. If equals transfer return token dot transfer args. If equals balance of return token dot balance of args, or rather get balance of. If equals decimal return token dot get decimals. And that's, I think that's all we have right here. What's going on? It's in the chat. It is too, yeah. All right, cool. Owner, crowd sale, blah, 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 main tokens, token crowd sale available, yada, yada, yada. Deploy. Actually, let me just copy this. All right, so in the storage API, basically we're importing the Neo storage and we're importing get context, get put and delete. And basically what you're doing, we have a context op variable inside of the class. We're just getting the context and then we're implementing the get, the put and the delete. So we're just returning self.get context, put in the key, self for the get. For the put, you're passing in the key and the value. You're putting the context, the key and the value, and then the delete, you're getting the context and hitting delete. Pretty simple. Go ahead and save that. Oh, shoot. Rename. All right, cool. And then in the token, they are setting the name variable, symbol variable, and the decimals variable. We're setting the script hash of the address of the owner of the token. I need to grab that from NeoPython, but this is the person who owns the owner of the token. They have the total supply, the initial amount, tokens per Neo, tokens per gas. This is all for like the token sale stuff. The block sale start, the limited round. Okay. So this is crowd sale stuff, crowd sale stuff, crowd sale stuff. All right. Okay. So from here, let us from rental coin storage import storage API class token. I knew I forgot to do something. No, I didn't. Okay. Class token, we have name. This is going to be rental coin. We have a symbol. Rental coin, I total supply. Let's do 10 million. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right. We have decimals, and we'll just make that 8. All right. So we define get total supply. Return. Oh, let me pass in self. Return self dot total supply. Define get name self. We're going to return self dot name. Shoot. Self dot name. Oh my goodness. Define get symbol self return self dot symbol f get decimals. Return self dot decimals. All right, and that's what I'm going to do for right now. Bear with me. Got token 5. Just go ahead and open this Crowdsource too. If you guys have any questions in what I'm doing, feel free to say something. Okay. So they have an NEP5 handler class that handles most of the logic for all of the NEP5 functions. So this is where the decimals, the name, total supply, transfer, and all that good stuff comes into play. I am going to try to smooth this down. Transfer, detransfer, storage. Yeah. All right, cool. Oh yeah, they did the allowance and everything. Detransfer, storage. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and get started. So we did the name, did the decimals, did the symbol. We need to do total supply. So we're going to put the total supply on the blockchain. Token get total supply. So let's go over. Let's save this. Actually, transfer. go ahead and add what we got. Let's go over to token.py. That's what I was looking for. All right, so let us look at the get total supply. So that needs to be returned. Source equals new storage API. Circulate. Circulation key equals I knew I was missing something. Circulation. All right, so that'd be self dot circulation key. Okay. All right. So balance of get balance of args. All right. So, oh my goodness, our wrist body. I got a really sensitive thing. So in the get balance of method, we're basically it takes in one argument, and that argument is the Neo wallet address, and basically we're just using the storage object and returning that on the blockchain, because you're basically using the Neo address as the key. The value is your balance. So simply we just do return storage dot get account, and account is going to equal args 0. That's it. So also we need, let's see, got decimals. Get transfer args. So we have 2 from amount. That's what I thought. We got 2 is the first argument in the array. We have from. We got 2. We got from. And then we have amount. That's ugly. I'm actually not going to do that. That annoys me. So we have the to account, which is the first argument passed in the array. We have the from account, which is the second argument passed. I did that backwards. We have the from account, which is going to be the first argument. We have the to account where we're sending the money to, which is going to be the second argument, and we have the amount being sent as the third argument. And then do transfer. Oh no. All right, hold on 1 second. All right, so basically what we're going to do, we're going to check, see if the amount is less than or equal to 0. If it is, it's false. Then we concatenate the from and the to, and we make sure that the length of the key, which is concatenated, is 40, because the address should be 20 characters each, and we're concatenating two addresses together, so it should equal 40. And then we have the available to address, and then we get the key out of storage. If the available to address is less than amount, then there's insufficient funds. If the available, oh, because that's the value. Okay, if the value is the address, the funds are less than the amount that you're trying to send, then there's insufficient funds. Otherwise, the from address, you grab the neo address, if the funds are not available, you do the same thing. You compare the amount, and if there's insufficient funds in the balance, you return false. Then you get the to address out of storage. You have the new balance from the from address. You take the from address, subtract the amount, and then you have the new balance address, which is the to balance, and you add the amount. And because right now there's no gas associated cost on the Neo platform, that will change. So you probably want to account for that, or maybe you don't. And then you put in the storage the to address, you put the new to balance, and then from address, you put the new from balance, and then the transfer is complete. And now your new allowance. Oh, this is for doing allowance. We're not even worried about allowances. So we can cut out some of this logic because we're not doing allowances. All right. Okay, cool. All right, so let's get started. So here's the first thing we're going to do. Check to see if the amount is less than or equal to 0. So if amount is less than equal to 0, why did I do that? 0, return print amount must be greater than 0, and you're going to return false. Next thing we want to do, we're not worried about the available key. We're not worried about that. We're not worried about that. All right, so we're going to grab the from balance. Ooh. Oh my goodness. All right. From balance equals storage dot get from account. And then we're going to check if from balance is less than amount. Then we're going to print insufficient funds. Insufficient funds. and then we're going to return false. And then we're going to grab the to balance. All right, to balance. All right, so I'm done. All right, so the new from balance equals from balance minus amount and the new to balance equals to balance plus amount. And then what we want to do is storage dot put to account and new to balance, and then we want to do storage dot put from balance new from balance and transfer complete. All right. Oops. Print transfer complete. Return true. All right, pretty simple. We're not worrying about allowances and all that jazz, so that stripped out a lot of the logic. So just to go over it again, we have the transfer function. We're grabbing the from account, which is the first argument in the argument array. We're grabbing the to account, which is the second argument in the argument array. And we're grabbing the amount, which is the third argument in the argument array. We're checking to see if the amount is less than or equal to 0. If it is, then the amount must be greater than 0, return false. Otherwise, we grab the balance from the account that's trying to send money or send a rental coin. If the balance from the account that's trying to send money is less than the amount they're trying to send, then we have insufficient funds, return false. Otherwise, you're going to grab the to balance from the account that's about to receive money. You create the new balance, which is the new balance is for the account. And for the from balance is going to be the from balance minus the amount. And for the to balance is going to be the to balance plus the amount. You're going to put that on storage on the blockchain. You have the new balances on the blockchain, and then you return true. Pretty simple. All right. So, if I'm not mistaken, and that's pretty much it. So let me go ahead and save this, stage it, token, logic, yeah, commit, and where's it, push. Let's see, make sure that's over up on GitHub. Cool. Awesome sauce. All right. So, what we got left? We got deploy. We got get total supply. We got get name. Get symbol, we got transfer, we got balance of, and we got get decimal. I think I have to finish the total supply. Man, I love fruit roll-ups. Let's see. Balance of my bad, not balance of. I did that. Total supply. Circulation supply. My token. In circulation. Okay. Byte string. Okay. Current supply. Add the circulation. Okay. 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 Gotcha. Okay. I'm gonna add to circulation. I'm gonna add to circulation function. And what it's gonna do is gonna take an amount and the storage, and to get the current supply, it gets the current circulation key, and then it just adds the amount and then puts that key back on the Neo blockchain. And then to get the total circulation, it just gets the key. Okay, makes sense. All right, let's head back over to token. We're almost done, guys. Don't like this. Good balance of good total supply. So we're gonna grab the current supply. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna grab the current supply, out of storage. We add the amount to it, and then we just put it back in storage. Now, I think the last thing we need to do is add this deploy. This deploy method. Okay, yes, for attachments, I'll need that. Deploy. Oh, okay. So deploy token. If not, check whether the successful operational. Check witness. Checks the owner. Must be the owner to deploy. Oh, I get the storage. If not storage, that get initialized. Okay, so we check to see if that key exists. If it doesn't exist, then we put we set that to true. We put the token owner with the initial amount, and then add to circulation token dot initial amount and the storage. Okay. So basically, check the token owner. It's got to be the owner, the person who created the contract. Afterwards, we check to see if it's been initialized already. If it hasn't been initialized already, we initialize it. We set the token owner with the initial amount of tokens that is gonna go to that wallet, and then we add it to circulation. Pretty simple. All right, so let's add that. That's gonna go. Let me go ahead and just commit this real quick. Remember, guys, this is all on the GitHub. All right. Go to contract.py, deploy. We're going to define deploy. It's got to take the token of class token. All right. If not, check witness token.owner. Print. You must be the owner to deploy. All right, and then we're going to set the storage. All right, cool. We're setting storage, and we're checking if not storage.get init. Storage.put init, 1. Storage. no, what did I do? All right, token dot owner token dot amount. Storage dot put or token dot add to add to circulation token dot initial amount storage. All right, now I need to look at this, add the circulation function one more time. All right, current supply gets. Oh, that's what I put as add to total supply. All right, cool. All right, so last thing we have to do. Go ahead and save this. Contract.py ready. Token. Let's see, I need to set the owner. Let us see. Programs. And then all right, cool. Python prompt. All right, while I was doing that, yeah. So basically, what I'm gonna do is get the script hash in my wallet and put that in there on the private net, and that's what's going to be used in the check witness. But I guess in the meantime, I'll just put. All right, so this is the script hash of the address for the owner of the token. You can find NEP5 with the wallet open. All right. Oh my goodness. All right, well, in the meantime, I guess that'll work. So basically, gonna check the script hash of the owner variable to class. Yeah, notice that. All right, cool. Get circulation. Do I have a good thing? Oh. Circulation key, current supply, current supply. Current supply. I think that's everything we need, and we're ready to compile. Pretty sure. As soon as this finishes. Have any questions for anybody? Oh, this is way out. Never mind. Hold your questions. No module for for what are you doing? Okay. All right. I'm confused on why this isn't running. Let's see. This Neoboa. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. Run to Vagrant Alt. I'm just gonna restart the virtual machine. Yeah, we're done with the coding now. I just want to compile it and show it to you. But essentially, we're done with part one. Let me make sure I have all the code pushed. No, I don't. Fucking this behind. Yeah, I didn't see any votes on the full stack DApp, so I decided after the hackathon we're just gonna do this. Okay, so we got the cool. Yeah, I need to do a README and whatnot. Oh, while I'm thinking about it, so like I said, I was talking with the Neo and the City of Zion team, and was saying that asking what I had to do to get sponsored to throw some hackathons, and they were like, "Yo, just hit us up. We would love to sponsor you guys." So we're gonna get some hackathon going, and hopefully get some gas we can play with. So more details to come. Let's Vagrant up and Vagrant SSH. And we're gonna restart the virtual machine. I think I realized what the problem was. I had I was in the wrong folder, and in that file I got corrupted. But yeah, so next week we're gonna work on the wallet to interact with this new token, and that should be fun. All right. That's taking forever. Hey, Ricky. You want to talk a little bit about Neo Reynolds and how he came up with the idea a little bit while this is going?
Yeah. So I'm, I guess, a landlord, so I'm involved in rentals. So kind of the idea came from working with tenants and always having to go out and find background checks and search for information. Basically, it just took time to go and collect this information, even though you can do it online, or it might cost you 30 or 40 bucks to run background checks and criminal history and credit reports on a whole household if you got 2 or 3 people over the age of 18. So with this idea, you can kind of check on that client, not the client, but the renter prior to renting. So it kind of eliminates a lot of the steps that you have to go through for a rental application or during the rental application process. And on the flip side of that, for the actual landlord and for the tenant, they can put the information about the property all on the blockchain. So that would include repairs, maintenance, anything along that nature with that a tenant might want to look at with maintenance and upkeep of the property. So things that tenants ask me all the time that would relate to a property. I know it's something minor, but if it was on the blockchain when the trash went out, think about the reminders and different things like that that you could send to tenants about things like that. Not to mention rental history about the property that tenants could look up. The possibilities are endless. I just think that it would save a lot of time for tenants and landlords, and also just be, a check for slumlords. People could see reports on that property from previous tenants or whatever it may be, or even previous notes about tenants from landlords, so that you can kind of get an idea of who you're actually renting to and who you're renting from. So yeah, so I think that's the kind of niche that this rental coin would fill.
Oh, yeah. Let's see if this works. Set up the private net. Oh, I haven't started. Started it up. How do I start this image?
But I guess also beyond that, I encourage people to kind of think about ways that they could use the blockchain if it's any type of cryptocurrency. What could you do with that beyond make payments? Kind of expand your mind. Try to look for other ways to use that information and use that resource of cryptocurrency. I just think that the possibilities are endless. Just like I said, this rental coin, there are endless possibilities of different types of currency or things that can be tracked using the blockchain concept as a whole. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I figured out what was going on. My private net wasn't running. So I had to re-download that. But anyway, I mean, essentially, this is just a copy of everything. Everybody should have by now. They should have their private net up. They should have. Actually, speaking of private net, they moved everything over to City of Zion. Actually, so let me pull that up, and they've made some changes on it. Where is City of Zion? So we have the NEO5 Docker. Let me go ahead and just clone this actually, or fork it rather. We'll fork it into crypto DU. All right, cool. So for everyone who has had trouble or hasn't gotten around to setting up their private net with Docker, here it is. Pretty simple. Yeah. I'm not gonna go through that right now, but that's pretty straightforward. And get your gas and everything set up. I'm also gonna set up. Actually, technically, I already have it set up on our server because we had to do it at the hackathon. I set up a private net on one of my virtual servers, so when we get to testing and whatnot, we can do all that. All right, so let's see that. Is it running? All right, cool. What's going on? Python settings up high. Key error. All right, I don't know what's going on. I just pulled the latest version and now it's acting up. This could take forever, so I'm just gonna leave off for here. All the code is updated. I know that it works. Let me just do a quick syntax check real quick. Make sure I got nothing funky going on. Okay, storage. All right. Get context, yada yada. Token. Circulation key. Decimals. 2 vowels from vowels. Yeah, we got everything in here. So if you have a private net that's up and running, and you can get your NeoBoa or NeoPython rather up and running, then you can edit the code add in your wallet hash, and you know, get your rental coins. Rather up and running, then you can edit the code, add in your wallet hash, and hey Ricky, are you playing the get your rental coins? Rather. Yeah. All right, I think that's everything. I'm gonna play around with this, and once I get my private net back up, or not my private net, once I get this NeoPython error figured out. Actually, let me see something. Let me just try one. Let me try something one more time. I really want to show this to you. But if this don't work right afterwards, then I'm not even gonna worry about it because I know the code works. Got permission denied. Oh, sudo. Seems hurry up. All right. Any day now would be nice. You know what? I'm just gonna go with my first idea. So make sure that the code is up to date. Yes, it is. All right. All right, guys, check out the code, download it, read it over. Um, if you already have your test net and everything up and running, go ahead and run it. And no, I know it'll run because I already did it before we did this call. So I just wanted to do it again in front of you guys. I shouldn't have updated that image. Ugh. But yeah, I mean, writing a smart contract is pretty easy. It's a little more complicated than doing it with Ethereum, but or Solidity rather. But you know, you get the full power of Python, so you know, definitely worth the trade off. So just to do a recap, we have the main function that takes in the operations and arguments. To be NEP5 compliant, you must implement the total supply, name, symbol, transfer, balance of, and decimals function. So basically, when your smart contract is invocated, they're going to be called the invoke function, call your specific function, and run your logic. We're pretty simple canonical methods. We did it in a clean way using classes. And then we have a deploy function to actually put to deploy the coin out on the blockchain. So that's pretty much it. So once again, let's welcome Ricky to the group. Thank you everybody who's currently on Facebook watching and on Zoom. We're gonna keep Ricky in the group. Might even have him do a couple of these on his own. So let's look forward to next week with the GUI wallet. For those who want to do a little preparation before we actually start, I believe I already cloned the Neon.js. Yep. Check out the Neon.js package inside of the DU crypto group. This is the package we're going to be using, and I'm going to be developing the application in Vue.js. So, you know, go ahead and get used to that. And without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Ricky, do you have anything you would like to say before we get off?
No, just thanks, guys. I'm really enjoying this, and I look forward to doing more in the future.
All right, cool. All right, guys, talk to you next week. Next week, we will go back to the regular time of 7 p.m. Today, I had to do it at 8, but unless you guys prefer doing it at 8, then we'll keep it at this time. But otherwise, it's going to be back at the regular time of 7 p.m. rather. I think I said a.m. So see you guys next week, and have a good rest of the week. Talk to you guys on Saturday.